Okay, this is just another episode of, I don't know if we're calling it Going to Jew. Kind of said that as a joke. For now, it's a good name. It's a good enough name. Today, our topic of the day is going to be the subject of homelessness. If I can kind of give a little background on Craig's situation here. What would you call it?
Yeah, I'd call it all kinds of different barely homed to homelessness for a decade.
Wow. That's a long ass time. I mean, I just couldn't imagine it. For a month, I couldn't imagine it, but let alone 10 years. That's just insane. So, however, there's good news is Craig's found a place where he can stay starting tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning. He's moving in. So his situation is improving precipitously. Access to a shower, access to power, a bed, heat, a locked door. I'm assuming laundry on site. If not, there's laundry pretty close by.
There's a on-call masseuse and all the Uber Eats I want, and as well as let's see, there's a fireplace, there's a gym, there's a pool, a jacuzzi. It's incredible. I'm kidding. None of that is real, but it's actually quite decent. Yeah, it's quite decent. It's a nice little,
Conveniently located too.
little bachelor, you'd call it. Very conveniently located. Definitely, exactly, for the time being.
Right. And so with
Transitional. But in any case, yes.
with this market improvement in living situation,
Marked, yes.
what are you hoping to do with that?
Oh, this is a better direction then. Yeah, this is my goal from here is to do a GoFundMe page, most of all. Get myself back out there with people, my old friends and associates, who I haven't seen in a long time, who I haven't contacted. From the situation, I wasn't going to call anybody really and ask for money. It just kind of isn't my nature. So I haven't been in touch with my good friends in the world of martial arts and yoga from my old monastery days.
Right.
And they all have a lot of contacts, and they're all actually doing very well. I'm the oddball who went a different way and had a different life story, but all my old friends are doing well and have plenty of contacts of their own, or we're all on great terms. So I'll get them a package and some kind of information package of what I can do and see what they say. See what happens when they get back to me.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be on the lookout for some sort of device for you.
Great.
Assuming there's Wi-Fi at the place you're staying.
Gotta imagine they're
Gotta
pretty.
imagine.
They
If
got.
not, there's
There
close enough
will
Wi-Fi.
be. They have it's a big office there.
There's gotta be.
Yeah, and they go all day. So, besides that, I'm open to all kinds of gig work, as they call it. I could certainly overqualified for body work, chiropractic, even though that requires me to get my license and a business license and a million other bureaucratic hurdles. I wouldn't do it. I don't care. If if you're mad at me, I'm a great chiropractor. I did it for 20 years and was always the top of my field and do have the degrees, and I am a doctor of chiropractic, but my licensure isn't up to date. It would cost $5,000 or something just to re-up it. So whatever, if someone wants that, I would do that. And besides that, teach Tai Chi, Qigong, basic yoga concepts.
Well,
Stuff like that.
as I cough and ruin the audio. But
Yeah,
as I was saying before we started rolling.
I'm sorry that's so mundane. I'm like giving an advertisement for myself. I'm just saying that is what I'm planning on doing. You asked.
And hopefully more of whatever we're doing, whether it's podcasting or videos. Happy to continue.
I'm happy. This is friendship. This is obviously not a money maker. I need money, world. Just putting it out there to you.
Yeah, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, if that's how the saying go. But this is one of those things which you get a following, you'd be surprised how much money you could make. Again, we're not doing this for money, and I think it shows. But oftentimes when you don't,
It shows.
when you do, I mean that in a good way, because when somebody's doing it for money, you can tell. You can just tell they're trying to, cash grab.
Yeah, well, I think it'd be nice for all of us, the two of us, as well as everyone else, to have an improvement in lifestyle quality on every level. There's something to be said for being kind of in the bottom right now, and really kind of in a real low point. Ecology, economy, and culture is that it's all up from here. If it's either the end or it's all up. So I'm kind of looking forward to some positive future stuff. Or
well said.
Or a long rest.
I was gonna ask, what's the first thing you're gonna do
when I get there?
Yeah, when you get there, are you just gonna?
It's all mundane. No, I'm gonna take a shower, for God's sakes. That's been before this man gave me a shower. It'd been 6 months since I had a shower, or at least about 6 months since I'd bathed.
I'm pumped for you to have a shower again. Are you a daily showerer, if you can?
I was always a twice a day showerer with 3 a days in the summer, because I was always working out, and it's it's come from ultra clean Ashkenazi Jewish people who I never knew my father not to get up every single morning by 6 a.m., shower and put on a suit. His father did the same thing. All my grandfathers did the exact same thing. They were up at 6 a.m. at the latest, showered, shaved, clean, put on a suit. So that was it. So that's and then the monastery was ridiculously clean, barefoot but clean. Same thing. And they were changed. I've never not changed my clothes 3 times a day. There's never been a time, because I was always working out. And then there was work clothes and there was relaxing clothes. It was minimum with lots of shower, bathing. So this has been a phenomenon, learning to tolerate these things and just work with what's available, bird baths and such.
Yeah, it really was crazy. Just thinking back to when I met you, hearing your story.
The stories, I don't know, that would take forever, but they go, just of radical stuff, man. I have seen some, and not even the most, because I never went to prison, I never went to jail, I never did. So that stuff I've seen, just like you, on TV, on these TV shows where you see how crazy and scary prison is. Terrifying. Lord. Never got near big gangs.
Kill me.
That's terrifying stuff. That stuff, no way. But I've been, the heaviest stuff, I'll just give you these points. The heaviest stuff I've ever seen is big city, homeless, camps, as well as homeless, what do they call it?
Shelters?
Homeless shelters, right. Where I've, for example, Las Vegas, the homeless camp where you have to be. There's a place in Las Vegas where they've clamped down on homeless people so heavily that they force them into a camp. And or else you have to keep on the move, just kind of like keep walking, and it's 115 degrees all summer with no shade and no water, so you got to kind of find a place. And so this place there are at all times about 5 armed guards in a cement enclosure, which is no more than 50 yards by 50 yards. It's a square.
They're basically creating involuntary camps.
It is so harsh and so tight in there. And
it's like a colony.
It is a little prison colony, and it is intense. And It's brutal. And then the places where you can go, what are they called? The homeless shelters where you can sleep.
They're terrible.
Horrifying.
Choices suck.
You
You're
can't.
sleeping around people.
Terrifying. I'm just
people.
terrifying. People who are so crazy, so violent, so old, so broken, so diseased, so much radical addiction
Anger.
and disease and anger and trauma. And it's all packed in this hungry, cold, miserable place where people are vomiting and they are exploding out every hole, put it that way, from their disease states and their age and their decrepitude and their madness. And the breathing patterns, just trying to sleep in a room where there are multiple sleep apnea people who are wailingly loud. A million other things are going on all the time. And it's all on a deprived, not just depraved, it's depraved, but it's also deprived. And they're so hungry and so everything deprived. And then at that point, they put more pressure where everybody is constantly being wanded and breathalyzed and put through, and people need to smoke and they can't smoke. And if you're caught with any of these things, any kind of paraphernalia, any drugs, any things these people do all day, every day, there's hell to pay. It's all like, it's very much like second to third world refugee camps is how the homeless are treated in America. Like second to third world refugee camps. It is quite a thing, and it's coast to coast. And these are American citizens, and these are American citizens of every race, creed, and color, and at every age. There is no mercy for the old. There is no mercy for the young. I have seen babies. I have seen you'll get this. We're allowed to say whatever we want. This is not about racism, but it's about what we think we're about here in America. And white, cute white couple, homeless for 2 years. The girl gets pregnant. They're like 19 years old. They're adorable little white kids standing on a corner, pregnant till birth. Why are you doing this? All right, it's weirding me out. I'm sorry. So it's like, okay, so pregnant till birth, and then gave birth, and I watched them for 1 year standing on corners in the middle of a town with a baby, with an infant baby in their arms, on the corner of the street, in public, and no one cares for them. I mean, they get small handouts, ridiculous offerings. Often not having enough, going days with not enough food. Standing on corners in the rain with a baby, with an infant baby. Why would you, what kind of human being driving a Tesla doesn't stop and give them $500 or bring them into their house and figure out their life for them? What is wrong with you? It is kind of the constant. It's 24 hours a day, every day, 365, coast to coast, that you are stepping over your fellow citizens who have been here for 5, 10, 20 generations, longer than you, whose families have put into this country, who fought in world wars. And you have absolutely abandoned 20 million Americans and treat them in a way to cause them to die. There is a 28-year decrease in life expectancy if you're homeless. That means it goes down to about 50 to 60 years old is the longest you're going to live on the streets. Think about that. That's when you're dying compared to when you expect to die. That's how much it hurts. That's how much you suffer. That's how much these people are dying on the streets, and you're doing this to them. And Americans are actually spending about $20 for every $1 it would cost to feed, clothe, and shelter these people in a rare, reasonable way, in a kind of a golden rule way that would be okay with you, that you'd be accept that kind of life, whether it's mini houses or group housing, but comfortable and reasonable. You're spending $20 for every $1 it would cost to do that for every homeless person in America. There are 4 livable places in America, empty and open, for every homeless person in America, just left open and uninhabited, no residences. It goes on. It's an infinite amount of capability to house these people, and you don't want to. I know that's for sure. You're spending incredible money and energy to make sure that they suffer, and that their lives are made harder, that they have less capability to achieve some form of residence. They have less capability to achieve food, to get clean. The pressures are enormously against that and microscopic to help those things happen. And those times when there are opportunities to avail yourself of the basic things one needs to operate in the American socioeconomy. You must be clean. You must have clean clothes. You must have transportation, communications, and you must have a place and a way to regularly sleep and eat a certain amount and type of quantity of food. And that's just, we know that. You know that. There is no way to step into the American socioeconomy from what is now called homelessness. It's an impossibility, and the forces put against them are incredible. As I said, it's about $20 to everyone to help them. The $20 to stop, whether it's whatever it is, whether it's police, whether it's security systems and laws meant to just strictly to antagonize and keep them from getting their basic bodily daily psychophysical needs met, whether it's no sleeping at the park, no tents here, no camping there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Basic harassment for loitering, sleeping places, eating places, no possibility of bathing or evacuating. There are no bathrooms, no public bathrooms available intentionally. They're taken down intentionally. There's no place to throw garbage. These people are being forced to continually do these socially abhorrent things in public because facilities are not provided in any way. You know that too. Here's the thing I want to say. I'm not saying anything you don't know. You all know this stuff. You know you step over homeless people to go into Starbucks and spend $20 on 3 big, sweet whipped cream coffees for yourselves, and step back over those homeless people as you step out. And they're cold, and they're dirty, and they're disgusting. And they're usually, here's the big, my final point for this rant, is that they're crazy, they're sick, they're mentally and physically ill, and they're slowly dying in an ugly, tortured way. These people are horrifyingly miserable, and they are almost always far too mentally and physically disabled to function in the modern American socioeconomy. They cannot, and you know it. They are not capable. If they were in a middle class or above family, they'd be cared for, they'd have therapists, they'd have treatment, they'd have a residence, they'd have guaranteed everything. They'd have insurance, they'd be cared for. But because they are not, or they come from such a family that just doesn't care about them, that does happen sometimes, but rarely. Usually it's purely economic. The poor and crazy and physically ill are left to rot in misery. I use the word rot very intentionally. They are really left to rot physically in the wet and the cold and the filth. And you know it. And you're doing that to them. It's not like they're doing it to themselves. That's not their lifestyle choice. They can't get out. You couldn't get out from their situation. It's not their weakness of character. It's the reality of the life America gave them. If you listen to them, which you intentionally won't, you'd know that. They were born and raised to meth addicts and alcoholics that you, America, made. There were 5th and 10th and 20th generation Americans. They've been here a long time. They belong here. They're real citizens. And you leave them to rot on the street. And that is unconstitutional, actually. The Constitution says we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice and pure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, and promote the general welfare. We are meant to promote the general welfare of everyone. Their welfare is intentional in this country from the very beginning. The preamble, the full intention of the Constitution is right there. We are meant to be caring for each other and creating pure domestic tranquility and protecting each other, the common defense. Everyone's protecting everyone. The homeless are completely unprotected. They die and are killed and suffer all day, all night, every day in a hellish condition. And it's shocking how sick and evil the most Christian country, the most Jewish country, the most Hindu, Buddhist, whatever we are, with 1 million churches in every city. You can have big churches. You can't take care of these people. You'd rather hurt them because it's so much cheaper just to help them. And there is no religion in the world that allows this. You're all a bunch of heretics. And I'll tell you something else, you're all a bunch of traitors, because this is traitorous behavior. And George Washington and Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson and all the rest, they'd be shocked what you are, that you would allow 700 billionaires and human beings to rot on the street. Don't you care about them and their children? You can't love children and despise poor children, let them live in hell and be abused, live in tortured environments with bad educations, no chance, no hope. You know they have no chance. You know growing up in the ghetto is a death sentence. No one's going to make it out practically. And you don't change it. It's sick. It's sociopathic. It's truly sociopathic. These are your fellow Americans. You're going to stand together or you're going to fall. That's what's happening right now. You're being turned against each other by the ultra-rich. Ultimately, we have too much resources. Too much. It's ridiculous how much America has to go around, and you are allowing the ultra-rich to make you fight over crumbs rather than recouping the money that is yours, the resources that are yours. There's no reasonable reason on planet Earth that some man is worth $200 million or $200 billion. It's insane. Nobody can be that much more productive. No one's that much smarter. No one's come up with any great ideas. Jeff Bezos is the world's biggest warehouser and delivery agent, whatever. It used to be called Sears and Roebuck. It's a Sears and Roebuck catalog with computers. That's Amazon. That's all Jeff Bezos is. He didn't think of anything. Nothing. Big warehouse stores, so what? We've had those since forever. We call them supermarkets. Now it's upgraded. Now it's bigger. It's Walmart. And they have efficient supply chains. That's not anything new. That's just, yeah. They're not geniuses. They caught a piece of the market. They had a lot of money to invest. They had the capital. They're not super smart people. I'll tell you who else isn't Elon Musk. Rockets, subways, the Boring Company, and electric cars. All of those things, all three of those things. One of them, actually, surprisingly, is rockets, is thousands of years old. But the other two are at least 100 years old. We've been doing subways and electric cars for 100 years. Nikola Tesla designed a better electric car than we're making right now, and you could make it for what today would be $300. This is ridiculous. Okay? No, this man is not a genius, but he said he can hardly keep the drool in his mouth. He can't stay married. He doesn't care about his kids as far as I can tell. This is not a loving, caring, wise man. I don't see it. I don't get it. I don't believe it. Bottom line, okay, enough about him. That's not the show. Meanwhile, the point is that should not have $250 billion. He didn't think of anything. You know who thought of everything? Other people. He bought the idea and said, let's do it. And he was part of this goofball, this generation. It says, yeah, we're just going to go all in on technology. What's that?
He has a lot of government funding, too.
He gets 1 million grants, 1 million loans. Once you have big money, of course, then you exactly. It's ridiculous. And the same for Bill Gates and the same for Zuckerberg. Do you really think Mark Zuckerberg is a genius? Mark Zuckerberg is by the way on the spectrum. He is definitely Asperger's. He is not a genius. He stole the idea from these Wiesenthal brothers, whatever the freak their names are. Not that was such a brilliant idea. Who cares? They put a yearbook, phone book, message board. We used to put those things on your refrigerator.
Had to come up with it on the internet.
Just doing it on the internet as a thing. Who cares? Yeah, this is not a big thing, and he made it all very much Asperger's with boxes. Thumbs up, thumbs down, like, dislike. This is not genius, people. That you can call each other on the internet and leave messages. That's what he gave you.
The expected evolution of a technology.
That's bizarre. Beyond that, there were 1 million others that were just as good or better. That's the one we picked up and went with it. Okay, basically the stupidest one. We went with the easiest, stupidest. Whatever it was. He had the money. He had the impetus. He stole it from these people. He lied, cheated, and stole, just like Bill Gates lies, cheats, and steals. You can't have that much money and be an honest man. You can't sincerely think that you are worth that to the world and that productive. Your selfhood, your abilities are creating so much more productivity for the world that you deserve that. And no matter what, it's inefficient to think. You have to be a megalomaniac psychopath to believe that you are the proper reserve for that kind of capital. That your ideas and your thinking, just because you thought to be a big warehouser like Jeff Bezos and corner the market, or like Zuckerberg and corner the market on chat rooms, to think that means you should also control $200 billion of resources, the equivalent of 10 million ordinary humans or 100 million ordinary humans. How can you fathom a human being who thinks that much of their personal decision-making power? That's absurd. And to know, and to live that way and think that way while your fellow citizens 5 miles away and everywhere you walk and drive are dying on the streets in misery for lack of the simplest hovel to live in and a basic food stipend. For lack of that, how can you live that way? I'm going to leave you with this. It was Hafiz who said, I've never known he was a Sufi poet like Rumi and Shams, and he said, I've never known a truly intelligent, ultra-rich person, because who could hoard so much that could help so many? Back to you.
We have 30 minutes of homeless content. I cannot add to anything that you just did. I will not even try to. We can talk about whatever and just keep it rolling. If you're done for the night and are looking to wind down, that's cool too. But, that was bravo. 10 out of 10 monologue. On the spot.
Believe me, I've been working on it for a decade.
Exactly. I can't wait to go back and look at that footage, especially that couple minutes when I got out. Oh my God. Kind of just showed the angle of where you are and your last night here.
There it is. Now I get it now. I was like, what is he doing? I don't know what is going on here. But because it's the middle of the night here, and just so you know, I'm in the middle of this park, and I've been scared for 10 years straight. But I'll tell you, I mean, I've had to be honest, kind of be a little bit like Apocalypse Now, or a little bit of the Eric Bana character. It sounds like a joke, but I would joke to myself as I walked along, kind of like being Bana. I call it being Bana. If you ever saw Black Hawk Down, and or a little bit Josie Wales about things. Just it's real. Wow, holding it together in constant fear, because everybody is in constant fear out here, or they have gone so batshit, because that's a defense against just be so drunk, so high, so absolutely out of your freaking mind that you can somehow ride in your own weird way. Get so in, some of these people love interacting in negative ways, and especially with police and the whole prison system. But for me, I had to keep it together for 10 years with no margin of error. It was dangerous and scary from a million things you don't expect. Things like sleeping in the woods with bears, just sleeping on the ground with bears and raccoons and just stuff like that, and deer, but they're all around. And they're all, it's like, and I'm just some little guy in a sleeping bag and I'm sleeping on the floor of the woods. That's the least of it. The rest of it is being a little Jewish guy in a homeless shelter filled with, gnarly prison meth head freak shows, their entire life, prison and sodomy. Because it started with, whatever, they were all raped as kids and just lived in hell their whole life. And I'm with 300 of them for 6 months in a homeless shelter. And we're all hungry and cold and hot and tired and thirsty and miserable. And it was just 10 years. So you know what, really? It really kind of is like a lot of people's prison experience, where you got to kind of keep it together, like in prison. There's never a time when you can
relax,
let down the guard. So it was 10 years of that, but in wildly often different environments. I spent a month in the Maine woods in a shack without windows, and just like plastic, in Portland, northern Maine by Bangor. And it's impossible, dude. It was 20 under with wind chill, and we didn't have enough. We had this micro amount of fuel for this little tiny stove. We rode the edge of freezing to death for a month. That's another aspect of poverty, weird stuff. I stood outside in Portland, Maine for 4 months in 0 to -20 with 6 foot snowdrifts, and there are people doing it today, I'm sure.
I lived there for a year.
Right, and I stood outside.
Cold, on the water.
I stood outside all day, all winter.
Oh my God.
At 50 years old. I'm 50, and you're cold, and you're hungry, and it's all day, and you stand all day. There's no place to sit. You are standing, and I'm going to give you this, in a swamp of vomit, urine, and sputum, and feces, all in a swamp of snow and melted snow. That you're literally in a gooey swamp of it, sometimes for 10 hours a day, and then waiting to get into. Some people couldn't. There were no places to sleep. This is how bad it was in this place. Everybody got 20 to 100 bed bug bites. So you wake up every morning with welts. You sleep on the floor, on mats shoulder to shoulder, on prison mats that were in a prison, and now they were given to this homeless shelter, shoulder to shoulder with filthy homeless people who were just and just in hell, and just covered and just getting bit all night. No food, nothing like that. Bathing was practically impossible. It was like that, and it was every day, all winter. And I saw 60 or 65-year-old, just saying, Caucasian women who had been waitresses their whole life. I'm saying Caucasian just for a reference point. Okay, so you can see it, and it doesn't matter. I don't want their health and happiness. I want their health and happiness as much as I want every black, Mexican, Chinese. It's just a matter of this, just so you get the scene. It's not like people are being racist on here. These are not black people, Mexican people who some people might expect to be treated poorly. These are people who worked their whole life, who became an alcoholic, or their husband or wife died unexpectedly and they couldn't take it anymore, and they couldn't handle it, and their finances weren't in order, and for a million reasons. And now they're walking the streets at negative 20 degrees with up to their ankles in slush, begging the homeless shelter to open up, begging them to open, crying and begging, please let me in, please give me something to eat, I'm freezing. 65-year-old, they can't walk. These are old women. These are broken down old women. They could so be your grandmother, and I saw them by the dozens across the country. And I just saw day after day begging, please let us in. And nope, you will stand there, and you will stand there for 3 hours while the wind buffets you, because you have to wait until 6 o'clock, even though the building's wide open, no one's in there, it's heated, and the paid staff, including Somali refugees who are here, but Americans can't get these jobs if they're homeless. But Somali refugees get programs, and these punk kids who dress like hip-hop punks get these jobs supervising Americans who've been here for 20 generations, who are homeless now, just poverty, who are not criminals, they're just poor. And now, these foreigners have been here for 6 months. They have jobs supervising. They mock the American homeless people.
Democrats make them hate white Americans.
They mock them. They eat their food. These people, these Somali refugees come here and eat and take from the homeless because they can get away with it. And it's disgusting. And I feel for them, but they shouldn't be here taking from basic Americans. You can't take care of others until you take care of your own. You're creating great internal turmoil. And there's a lot. It's real creepy, and these people are suffering and in hell, and you know it. Nothing I'm saying here is really shocking you, because you see it every day, and you ignore them. When you walk by them, you see them on the streets, and you won't look, and you tell your kids not to look. And who the fuck are you to do that? Because seriously, the statistics are that you, the homeowner with kids, is just as likely to be is actually 15% more likely to be a pedophile than the average homeless person. You and your neighbors are more likely to be a pedophile than the homeless person lying in the gutter. So you might want to trust them more than you trust your friends and family. There's a lot of hypocrisy in this. Most of these people, to be honest, as I've said, though, are truly insane, and not in a vague way. And the insanity and the lifestyle they've been forced to live by poverty from childhood, from birth, and insanity of different degrees has created physical disabilities, and the trauma of their poverty and their different incarcerations and their life in often different types of foster homes and or homeless on the streets as children with all kinds of addicted parents and mentally ill parents. These are the constant stories. These are always them. It's always the same. They never had a chance. And you know this. And you created the America. Your taxes go to what you want your taxes to go to. You know you made America this way. They're your American brothers and sisters. I'm going to say it again. We the people. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, that's oneness. Establish justice, that's fairness. And pure domestic tranquility. That's pure domestic tranquility, if you don't know what that means. Yeah, it means peace and calm and happiness and comfort. Provide for the common defense. That means everyone's protection. And promote the general welfare. We are intended to promote. That means you, as a citizen, are meant to do all these things. This is the key. This is the foundation of the Constitution. Everything else is ideas of how to apply that. But this is what you must apply to be an American citizen. Anyway, promote the general welfare, and promote the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, which we're not doing. We're getting a lower quality of life for our posterity than any. This is we're the first generation right now that will have a worse quality of life than our forefathers. You're not covering your part of your constitutional duty as a citizen. And you're doing it brutally, much as you would see a cruel empire that takes over, much as the Indians were treated by the Brits, much as anybody who takes over a nation as an empire and to completely enslaves one way or another the people. That's how you're treating them. These are refugees in their own country, and you're being merciless, but to your own detriment on so many levels. You're spending your own children's and your own food, your quality of life. Your life sucks. Going out in public sucks because of homeless people. It's true. They make it shitty. And you make your own life shitty by ignoring them, becoming cold, hard, mean people. You're making your own lives suck at a financial cost. You're screwing yourselves because you're ashamed to say that you effed up and that you've been treating these people wrong, that you were wrong. You've been wrong in how you've been treating them. You are wrong. In the education you offer them, in the lifestyles, in the ghettos, that's all wrong. You have to fix and change that. You don't have the right not to, and you're ashamed and you won't admit it. So you're going to keep playing this game till you kill yourselves. Because like I said, you're spending so much money to repress and suppress and clean up the mess that you don't have the money to have a beautiful lifestyle and parks and free things and clean roads and excellent infrastructure and sewer systems and lifestyle. Good medical care, great colleges for your kids paid for. You don't get any of that. You're not getting it because you're spending the money on pushing down the poor, repressing them, keeping them from being comfortable. Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to documenting you coming from all that in your rise.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't come from all that. I witnessed it, and I was a 24-year celibate monk in a Buddhist monastery, and I come from a great family. I had an incredible childhood. I was well cared for. They were upper middle class, well educated. I had such a great education, and I'm being honest. I've never met anyone in my life who's had a better or more complete, just actual education, what normal people think of as an education. Wow. So I've had it great. And I also had all kinds of advantages, meaning I spent my entire life training 4 to 4.5 hours a day in martial arts. It's absurd. I've never known anybody anywhere in the world who's trained as hard as I have in martial arts. So I had that, and the years of discipline and intentional poverty and disciplined eating, disciplined sleeping, everything disciplined to the extreme. I had an extreme advantage in doing this. Horrifying what it would have done to an ordinary, normal person. I was trained almost perfectly to be able to survive this at this time in my life. And yeah.
You hold it together extremely well in terms of what your situation was.
I know. Mom, thank you, Mom and grandparents. I was raised by great people.
Not smelling, huge.
I don't smell too bad.
No.
Yeah, I go to great lengths, and it takes a lot of stripping down in the cold and getting into some drinking fountains in public. A lot of discipline and tolerance in dealing with the humiliation, and but hey, it's discipline.
What I would like to do pretty soon for one of our next videos is me getting footage of you running through your
No, I'm not going to do that. That's a stupid, terrible idea. No.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to do my daily creepy, weird stuff.
Like some of your martial arts
Oh,
moves.
martial arts
I
Sure.
don't know what you thought I was
I
talking
thought you were
about.
talking like digging in the garbage. I've dug in the garbage
No.
for 3 years straight. It's like
Of
been
course,
my
yeah.
50% of my food supplies come out of the garbage, which is fun. But you know what? I swear I get the sick thrill from the discipline of it, of dealing with the looks and the jibes of even the homeless people mock me for some of my habits. And they mock me for being too clean, and they mock me for being willing to basically eat anybody's leftovers, et cetera, willing to kind of pee or poop almost anywhere that's not exposed. It's like,
Right.
sure, if I can hide in there and get it done, I'll do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I got a 60-year-old bladder and bowel. I'm not, and so. But bottom line is, it all takes this kind of mental discipline and military-like accuracy, which I kind of get off on a little bit, because it's like, damn, I really do run at a ridiculous level of precision. It has to be that way.
What you're going to be able to do now that you don't have to exert so much.
I've always been that way. It's not new for me. I just kept it going. I'm sorry. I can't give you that thrill. I've always been this weird guy.
But I just think you'll have so much more energy.
No, I won't. I'm going to sleep. I don't want to. I'm not looking.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, I'm not. This is not. I'm not looking to explode here with all this. Yeah, wow, I have all this extra energy that I don't have to use anymore. No, my intention is to do the minimum and retire the maximum.
Well, I would love to get these minimalist karate movements.
Oh, I'll show you guys some martial arts stuff and try to make some money off you. Look, I just want to. I'm ready to market myself. I never in my life marketed myself. It's one of the reasons I'm here. I wasn't into it. I wanted to see what I could do without that. I grew up in LA. I was great at that. My mother was great at that. We were all into it. I just intentionally decided what is the longest, hardest path? What is the truest, most honest path to what I wanted to do in life, and most complete? And it definitely wasn't about cutting corners, and it's strange, but it kind of ended up leaving me in this condition. But I did end up training. I'll put this on here. I never stopped training. So for this entire decade, through all the things I described, I never stopped my meditation practice, which was at least 4 hours a day, and I never stopped my martial arts training, which is at least 4 hours a day, but sometimes up to 8 hours a day, including just some really traditional Buddhist misery austerities of standing sometimes for 10 to 12 hours in one place, day after day, just not moving your feet, just standing. Just stuff like that, but as well as but the entire time I was homeless or quasi-homeless and living in these miserable and terrifying conditions, I still put in a minimum of 4 hours a day of hard training.
Impressive.
It was something to also bury myself in. It also sometimes was useful just to kind of keep a little barrier from me and the local riffraff. But the truth is, you would think that, but often it was the opposite. It kind of creates a little bit of antagonism, which is often dangerous. So I can't say it really fended off that much danger, but it kept me in shape and gave me something to do. Really, the truth is, half the misery of homelessness is that there is nothing to do, no way to help yourself. There's not like, oh, well, you could just go work. No, you can't. There's just, it's passing time in the yard, but you're standing on cement all day. You're just standing. And the pain in your legs, your knees. These last 10 years, I've had a lot of spinal and body pain just from a lifetime of weird training and obsessive training, but on a moderate build. I'm not really built for that kind of crazy lifestyle of intense pushing it all the time. But this is some of the worst pain I've ever had, is just spending 10, 12, 14 hours a day standing on cement. It's a painful life, especially when you don't have, there's no respite, there's no chairs. There have been months months and months where I never felt a chair, and certainly nothing with padding on it. Never felt a single thing with padding on it. It was all cement or maybe a plastic chair, but that's the best it got, often for months on end. So yeah, there's been a lot of austerity and deprivation, but at the same time, like I said, that's kind of a thing of my life I'm kind of good at. But like I said, but it was horrible, and I don't want to do it. But it's, I'm kind of good at it. Just to be honest, it's not like a normal person who had to go through it. I spent my life kind of training to be able to do it, and I got through it anyway.
I feel like this is a checkpoint you're coming on to, not the finish line, but a checkpoint, and you're definitely not stumbling to it. You're running through it.
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I just need a little. I've often felt like, you ever see the TV show MASH? I need a 5-day pass to Seoul, Colonel. You got to get me a 5-day pass to Seoul. So that's about it. I just got to get me a pass, and there you go. But yeah, I'd love to. If anybody wants to see some trippy, cool martial arts from an old Jewish guy.
Well,
and
stay tuned, because it's guaranteed.
Toss it out.
I'm going to film it.
And yeah, think in your communal minds what you want to see, because I got that, whatever it is. I mean, I'm telling you, here's something weird. Look at me. I'm a mushy old Jewish guy. I'm telling you, I am way faster than Bruce Lee. That is going to piss some people off. I'm way better at Bruce Lee, even at the stuff that Bruce Lee does. Way better than Bruce Lee. Just as an example. Who cares? No one cares about Bruce Lee anymore, but still, just an example. Way better than that guy. I'm an old Jewish guy. I don't know why I'm bragging. This is not cool. I sound like Kanye West. Next thing I tell you, I'm God, and I got a swarm of killer bees, bee drones. I am really embarrassed. I'm gonna shut up. I am really good at martial arts. It's lame though. I hate martial arts. I won't go to martial arts studios. I can't say I really like it. It's just kind of cool that I can't believe I can do it. It's kind of wacky.
You have a dojo of one.
It's lame, and I've hardly made a penny off it my whole life.
Yeah, but you've trained.
Joe Rogan stole my life. I have me and Joe, we got a thing. I'm Jewish, and you're not that funny, and you're not that good at martial arts, Joe, but I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying.
Hey, Joe Rogan, Jew Rogan is coming for you.
I'm the Jew in jiu-jitsu, and I saw you once outside Jean-Jacques Machado's studio in Tarzana or Reseda or something, and when you're just kind of maybe first or second year in jiu-jitsu, and I knew you were buying your black belt. Yeah, you and the lady who with Demi Moore's ex, buying black belts. Rich kids buying black belts. Yeah, no, that's not paying dues. That's not the same.
Do you think you could submit him?
Who said that so geeky? I do believe I could potentially submit Joseph P. Roginski of the 10th Planet Academy. I do hope to someday do virtuous combat with his blockhead bald self. At the same time, him, Dana White, and no, I don't want to. No,
you're not trying to roll on the
stinky, smelly.
Well, I'm sure he would shower and all that stuff beforehand.
They're all smelly. I don't know how they eat. They drink whiskey. They eat meat. They have anal sex with their partners. I don't want to know about. I don't want to touch that. I am way too homophobic to roll in a dojo anymore.
You don't want to be near Joe Brazilian. Rogan, right? He's too.
I'm fine. No, I don't have real issues with Joe, but I have no problem. Yeah, if Joe Rogan ever wants to get better at martial arts, he can call me and maybe we can talk. But sincerely, I would teach him some things. I'm not into competing. I'm not that. I'm saying this. I'm not a combatant. I don't want to fight you. I believe you. You're the toughest person in the world. You can kill everyone. I'm just into teaching and demonstrating. As far as teaching and demonstrating, I'm the best on planet Earth at this thing called martial arts. You pick the style. And if it's not acrobatics and gymnastics, then I'm the best in the world. I swear, you'll see.
Once I film you, I'm gonna.
But I can teach you how to be much better too. Whatever style you want, whatever you want to do, I'll make you better faster than anybody else.
Teach me so I can beat up Joe Rogan.
That's what it means, because I'm trying to make money off this. I'm just being honest with you. So what it means to be as good as I am, and having gone through 52 years is the real number. Since I was 5 years old, I've been doing these 4 to more hours per day of putting my heart and soul into it. Like it was my life, like everything. Like I wanted to be the gold medalist, best in the world. It wasn't just like I wanted to get some exercise. Since I was this little tiny child, this crazy obsessive little undersized Jew. And I had the support of my family. My father's a Kung Fu Tai Chi idiot and obsessive, and my mother's a great athlete. And I had the resources. I was in LA where all these martial artists were and where they all came, and where the Gracies came and the Machados. And Dennis Alexio, I was sparring partners with the heavyweight kickboxing world champion, who was the legitimate heavyweight kickboxing world champion, who would today be the heavyweight kickboxing world champion, real deal. And so I was, and I was 170 when he was 210 or 220. I really did this at an extreme. I was hung out with the Machados and the Gracies before they ever had a studio, just when we were training out of their garage. I know a lot of people and more, and but the point is that I'm reaching out and I want to teach and I want to make some money. But what I'm saying is, because of this discipline, because of this obsession, going on and on, where can I go with it? How much further? What style can I learn next? I really do believe, and you can put me to the test, I can teach you better and get you better faster than anyone else on earth. And I know it's a ridiculous claim, and every martial artist, I got to say this, because we've segued off homelessness to martial arts, me teaching, but the thing is, every martial artist is bombastic and absurd, and their teacher and their lineage is the best and the greatest master, and they can kill anybody, and everybody can kill anybody, and I get it forever. And I'm still asking to be put to the test as far as teaching and demonstrating martial arts. The concept, the whole width and breadth, whether it's silat from Indonesia, whether it's long-fisted northern-style kung fus, whether it's wudon or air May, Tai Chis, whether it's whatever style of Tai Chi you do, Bagua, Xing Yi, whether it's American kickboxing, whether maybe you want to be a straight boxer. Boxing is a martial art. Kickboxing, grappling, on any of those levels, on you name it, Shotokan karate, Aikido, I guarantee you, or I promise, put me to the test and I'm willing to give money back guarantees and even work for donations, what you think it's worth, that I can give you the best teaching that takes you farther, faster than anybody else on earth. That's my that's my overture. That's my claim. Hey, you can say I'm wrong and your teacher's better and Taibo's way better. Fine. But I still make that claim, and I'm willing to at least give it a good go to see if you agree.
See the videos of the stuff you're doing.
Yeah, sure. You'll see. It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird for a guy my age to do all this weird stuff. So we'll show you. If you want to show, we'll show. Great. We'll show.
I'm gonna get 1, 2, 3. I have 3 total devices, maybe 4 angles. Some of them are gonna get slow motion.
Great. I'm so tired, but I'm willing to do it. Let's just get it on. I'd love to do it freaking tomorrow. Go to a park and do this, because I'm so tired. I want to get it done as soon as possible. I put 2,800 videos on TikTok, Golden Path 61 and Golden Path 12. If you can get there on TikTok, you can check them out. They almost all came out sideways. I put the camera at the wrong angle, and I'm sideways. Maybe you hey, here's an idea. Flip your cell phone. You'll see me right side up. But I made an encyclopedia of martial arts just because I was getting old. And this was last year. I went for 4 months. 2 or 3 hours a day, just clip after clip of basically all the fundamentals of every martial arts shown at the highest level, and some and progressions up. But we can do more. So there you go.
I can't wait.
There you go. Thank you for letting me ramble on this. Thank you. I didn't expect to be giving a commercial pitch.